My apologies. Mikey made his presence known and left a permanent reminder that lessons learned, that he will not be in the room when I'm doing this because he can be quite loud. Where I left off was talking about how I began to gradually remember how Straight Incorporated happened. I had thought about it in 20 years and couldn't really, put things together, Yeah, I said things like, well, yeah, straight sucked, but it saved my life. I didn't believe that. But it was the only thing I knew to say. I mean, who would believe that I was locked up in a warehouse with 350 boys and girls, children, boys on one side, girls on the other, or vice versa. It was 12 hours a day. And I was in St. Petersburg, Florida, and let me tell you, as August in Atlanta has just passed, the stifling heat of Florida in a warehouse was awful. And more and more memories began to come flooding back. And nightmares began to happen. And oddly enough, when things really became to a critical point, but I didn't understand what was taking place. I was married, and I had a stepson, and my last wife did the thing that most mothers do. She sang to her child. She lured her child to sleep. Nursery rhymes. And then one day she sang Little Rabbit Foo-Foo. I can't begin to explain really what it's like to explode. To internally explode. And not have a clue why. But looking at what a camera would have seen, what reality was, here was a woman singing to her child. One of the most probably adorable things worldwide. And here Dave was just in an explosive frame of mind. And that was just one episode. Still, I didn't know why. In fact, I talked to a psychiatrist, and he said, you have explosive temper disorder. Absolutely. No doubt. No doubt I'm explosive. No answers, but that's what he said. So, went with that theory for a while. Marriage didn't work. That failed. But time went on, and I worked in another facility, and the charge nurse of the facility demanded that I see a psychologist, which I did. And I told her about the explosive temper disorder. And she thought that was because of ADD. Good call. ADD is all get out. So at least that was recognized. And as I was talking with somebody this morning, of all the mental illnesses to have, ADD is the way to go. Personally. But at any rate, followed up with another psychiatrist after that. And I'm not even clear what my diagnosis was then. I used to have dreams. I still have dreams. But closer to the truth, I had a thing called bruxism. Bruxism is a condition where when you're sleeping, you grind your teeth. They just mash and they just grind and grind. And the reason I know I have this is because I've been told. And it hurt. You know, I just had miserable headaches, and it just hurt. I began to have nightmares, and these nightmares consisted of spitting out pieces of broken teeth. You know, like a fist fight, except there was no fist fight. Just a constant spitting tooth after tooth after tooth out. Those night terrors, those nightmares, those dreams became manifest because I quite literally ground my teeth at night till they shattered and broke. At one time, I held a certification with Microsoft. I was a certified systems engineer. And not that it means anything now, but it took a lot of mental fortitude. You had to think about it a lot. And you had to be able to concentrate a lot. I noticed a diminished ability to concentrate, not knowing why. You know, and still I'm working, trying to find my buddy. Still reading about Straight Incorporated. Slowly, over a period of time, I began to connect the dots. This one goes to here, which goes back to here, which connects to here. Oh, shit. It became abundantly clear. There was no really an opportunity to have a second childhood. Yeah. I hadn't experienced my first. It was a moment of what is called disillusionment. By definition, disillusionment means no longer under an illusion. By definition, no longer being under a delusion or an illusion is a good thing. We celebrate that. Hey, I can see clearly now. My mind, is clear. But this type of disillusionment is befuddling at best, confusing. There's there's a lot of self-loathing unfortunately. And I know many folks that understand that. There have been in this community of straight incorporated survivors that are no longer here. They no longer walk with us. They're not here to tell their stories. Some of their stories have been told already, documented, filmed. They're dead. Survive that. See, the whole thing is people say, oh, you survived straight incorporated. Let it go. Hey, come on, man, that was 40 years ago. Let it go. Yeah, I survived an event. 3-year event. Completely robbed, raped of that time and that build up, that mental capacity where you're 14 to 17. Fucked up. And you survive that. You survive every day. Some people don't. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at people that no longer walk with us. They're tired. They were simply tired. I know a lot of tired people. Just the opposite. I know a lot of fighters. I know a lot of people that live in Survivorland. And in Survivorland, rent is due every day. Every day. Day in, day out. You pay your rent in Survivorland. I've said it before, and I mean it. Surviving ain't for sissies. This takes a lot of testicular fortitude. Takes a lot of guts. Don't let anybody tell you differently. I've done it for over 40 years. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story as we go along. Right now, I want you to consider telling your story. Let's talk about the story of surviving that incident. But how have you survived these years? How do your children survive? How do your spouses survive? I mean, you drink a lot? Take a lot of drugs? Gamble? A lot of sex? Spend more money than you need? You know, we all try to find ways to cope. I've tried many of those ways. Somehow they all kind of worked. Because I'm here today, and I survived every day. It's not something you let go of. It's not something you blow off. Thanks for listening. Means a lot.